Hello. I got on about a minute early, so give everybody a chance to join. Okay, there. Just making sure. Hi, everybody. It's not quite 8 o'clock yet. So I'm going to give everyone a chance to join. Hey, Paul. I'm so excited to teach tonight. This is like my jam. Teaching is my jam. Hey, everybody. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I like to give 3 minutes after 8 to give everyone a chance to join. So let's talk about SFR for 3 whole minutes. So SFR was amazing. Who went to SFR? Comment below if you went to SFR and if I seen you, because I thought it was amazing this year. Like all these new products coming out with the body spray and the flower and the wall diffuser. There's just like no reason to not succeed. Can I get an amen? Like Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, I can't even bring myself to say I can't in any form or fashion or even look in that direction, because we have so dang much. Like we have to literally call customer service and say, I want to quit in order to not get sales. Like we just got to and I love it. That's why I feel so blessed with Scentsy, is that I feel like we have so much. And I can't even imagine what it was like back in the day when they just had wax and warmers. And now we've got Buddy and laundry stuff and Disney stuff and Bring Back My Bar and Scentsy Club and all these things, all these different things. And it's like amazing. Yep, I seen Lindsay. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey. I'm just chitter-chattering for a couple of minutes while everybody joins. Because you all know, if you know me, you guys know organization is my thing. It's like one of those things, because I failed at organization bad. Like I have failed so bad at organization, it's not even funny, in all aspects of my life. All aspects. And so I'm excited to come in here and share you guys with my journey with that, where I was, how far I've came, and what it's done for my business. I'm just excited. I'm excited. I just asked Lindsay about you. Too bad I didn't see you, Shanika. Well, anyway, let's get started. My name is Fifi Fitzgerald, Star Director from Plainview, Texas. And I'm so excited to be here tonight with you guys on the Elevate page. I'm going to be chatting with you guys about organization. So if you guys haven't had a chance, be sure to share this to your team pages. So that way we can hopefully tonight solve a lot of problems, because organization, for some reason, for me and for all of Scentsy, is like, it can really make or break you. Oh, thank you. Just side note, you guys, I normally am not dressed up with makeup on. If you guys know me, I have to do, every Tuesday, I have to do church announcements, video announcements, like the announcements that come on before the sermon. And so they canceled it today, but that was after I put my makeup on and my clothes. And then they texted me and said, hey, can we move it to Thursday? So I had to go around Walmart today running errands looking like a snack. Normally I wouldn't be though. So it felt weird. I got in my car, and usually I'm like, man, I should have put some makeup on. And this time I'm like, oh, I do have makeup on. I'm actually looking all right. And I have decent clothes on and not leggings and tennis shoes. So kudos to me. That's a win today. I love looking like a snack. Anyway, organization. I think here's where I want to go with this, and here's what I want everyone to understand. One thing I got from Reunion and from one of our current reigning shining star, Nick Gervais, when she was on stage, and she said this year about how we are all hot messes. And so I wanted to elaborate on that because, people are just deciding to email me today. and message. I wanted to elaborate on that because she said that one line and my heart was just like jumping out of my chest because that couldn't be more true. We are all a hot mess. And I know we hear that. I know we hear we're a hot mess, hashtag hot mess, whatever, still slaying it, whatever. But it is the truth. It is the truth that if you take 30 days out of the month, I think I'm only excited and on point and hashtag slaying about 2 of those days. And that's probably on the 9th when we get paid for Scentsy, and on the other day whenever my husband gets paid. Every now and then Taco Tuesday. But other than that, I'm only excited about 2 days out of the month, and I'm being dead serious. And I can almost step out and say that's the same for every single person. I don't know anybody that's just excited 30 days out of the month. And I know we get all these wonderful ideas whenever and we can climb mountains when we're excited, and we can run 10 miles, and we can do all the things. But then when the real life hits, those other 28 days out of the month, what's going to get us up in the morning to say, I got to do samples, or I got to follow up, or I got to do one-on-ones with my team. I got to do laundry. I got to make family time. What is going to do that? What is going to get us up? And the truth is that time, those 28 days and that time between it, what determines what you do, how organized you are within those 28 days determines where you are now and how long it's going to be to where you want to be. You get what I'm saying? If you want to close that gap, you have to get organized, you guys. You have to. And I know this is probably the 15,000th live you guys have probably listened to getting organized. It's all right. I know we tell ourselves every day as moms and busy college students or whatever that we need to get organized, and we've been telling ourselves that since we graduated high school and started adulting, and we still haven't, and we're still telling ourselves that. It's okay. We're here today because we're going to kind of refresh things, and we're going to kind of start over. We're going to identify some points that cause stress, that make people just want to shut down and not even get organized. We're going to identify some ways that we can put things into place, and why we put things into place, and different aspects of our business that we need to really pay attention to, or we'll miss the mark, or we'll fly off the handle, and then we'll get frustrated and overwhelmed, and we just don't want to do it. I was at a point in my business where I was like probably most people. I was just running around like a hot mess. And I even would begin to joke about it, like, girl, I'm a hot mess today. And I still do. Like, I still was earlier with Lindsay. But I'm just saying, like, it almost became a way of life. I was speaking it into existence, how much of a hot mess I was. Like, I am naturally lazy. Like, so lazy that I remember one time when I was a single mom and I was in the dark ages with finances, I was just so lazy. I didn't even want to go get up and get a free meal somebody was trying to offer me. And I knew I was broke and hungry, but that's how lazy I was, because I just didn't have the motivation to get up and do it. I've been so lazy before that I have worn clothes and like laid them on the bed and was like, I only had that on for 2 hours, so let me just leave that out. I'm gonna wear it again. It's not bad, right? I've been so non-motivated to do things unless it's tangible, like in front of me, like it's a bill, like, oh, I gotta pay the house payment, or that's gonna get shut off. Unless the consequences are tangible, or I could see it in some kind of way or feel it, I wasn't trying to do anything. And so I realized in this journey with Scentsy that I have to be organized in some sort of way. I used to work on my business for hours at a time. I know it's fun, and this is our outlet, and so we shouldn't have to work on our business for hours, is what I'm saying. Like, I would put in 6 or 7 hours a day, and then now that I'm organized and I got my systems in place, I'm literally intentionally working, waking up, spending a couple of hours on my business. And if I want to spend extra because it's my outlet, I can, but I don't have to. All the thinking is taken out. Remember, you guys, that other 28 days, it's that thinking process that wastes 90% of our time thinking about what are we doing? Are we doing enough for our teams? Did I remember to post that? Did I do this? Did I take that? Did I give someone their order? Did I do that? It's all that thinking that we're doing. We spend 90% of our time thinking. And so we get to a spot in our business. Here's the real part. We get in a spot in our business that we cannot even function on a normal level to be able to have a personal life because we are so consumed with this business, and that is nobody's fault but our own. Listen, you guys, when I say hot mess phase, 28 days in a month, that's a broad spectrum of hot mess. I'm talking about like you're sitting there and you're like, did I give her her scent circle or not? Kind of hot mess, all the way to I'm having marriage problems, or all the way to we had a death in the family, or all the way to we're experiencing extreme financial hardship and everything in between. We cannot function and we can't possibly run our business and be spending all of our thoughts 90% of the time on this business and spend it on our personal life. It's not possible. We as humans were built to only function on one thought level. And if we're spending all that thought level on our business and all the things we need to do for our team and all the things we forgot to do and did we order this and did we order that, we have no time to focus on what matters in our life. So what happens? Something happens in our life. The other 28 days happen and we put our kit down. We put our business on the back burner because we're like, we can't do both. The truth is you can't. If you're operating unorganized and you have nothing in place, you can't do both. You're right. But if you have specific systems in place or some way that you can identify how you get your PRV for the month, how you recruit, how you implement customer service, on the leadership end, how you train, communicate, and recognize your team, and all you got to do is look at it for the day. Oh, there's my planner. It says I got to do shout outs today. Shout out, top 10, upload it to the page, and you go on with your bad self and deal with your personal stuff. The hot mess phase, the other 28 days, you're running a substantial, duplicatable business. And that's what's gonna create that longevity is when you get organized, you guys. So I wanted to show you this because this was also powerful. Something we've seen at leadership. Not all directors and up were there. And of course, there's a lot of people on the Elevate page that aren't director yet that weren't there. But I want to show you something. If you've seen this analogy, give me a second to elaborate on it because I don't really quite know where Courtney Clark was going with this when she was speaking on it. However, I know where Fifi's mind went whenever she was speaking on this. And we're talking about organization. So, and I think she was too. So we had this picture of fruit. And she said, I'm going to show it to you for 3 seconds, and you're going to have to tell me how many strawberries, how many bananas, and how many oranges you see. But you got to identify it all in 3 seconds. And all you got is 3 seconds, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 seconds. Leaders, pay attention because I'm putting my own little Fifi twist on it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Time's up. So, what does that mean? That was me and all my pieces, all these strawberries before when I wasn't organized. This is a picture of my brain and what it looked like in my list that I was writing everywhere on postcards and index cards and throwing them in Post-it notes and keeping it everywhere. That's what that looked like when I said I had an hour in the day to work on my business. Let me see what I got to do. And I would look at this doggone paper or whatever it was for the day and I would be like, no, ma'am, absolutely not. I'd set it down and I wouldn't get crap done because it's overwhelming. There's no freaking way. I didn't even know what fruit was on the page, only because she told me. I didn't know what fruits they were. And so unfortunately, we get overwhelmed because we can't quite possibly do that. So that was before I got organized. This is after. Now tell me how many strawberries there are, bananas and oranges. See how much more like sigh of relief that was just looking at that? Like, see how much more sigh of relief. It's the same amount of strawberries. It's the same amount of bananas. It's the same amount of oranges, but except it's like a sigh of relief. It's like someone done came through and said, what up? And you're just like, ah. It's like someone just said, I paid your car payment this month. You're like, oh, thanks for taking care of that for me. But I want you guys to understand that the pieces are all here. When you look, I could have half. I can only see half. So say it was only half. This still right here seems overwhelming. Just looking at it for 3 seconds going, yep, nope. I don't know how many strawberries there were. But this is more overwhelming than all of this, just because all of this is put together. So I wanted you to show you guys that analogy again, because not only is it easier to look at, your brain doesn't look at it and automatically switch. It decides within a millisecond, can I do that and can I not? That's every situation we are in. Can I do that or can I not? And in this business, when we're adding Scentsy into our already busy life, we're already, like, it's so easy to operate in a time deficit if we're not watching what the heck we're doing in every single area of our business. So, one thing I wanted to point out tonight, for the love of all things holy, I want to say something to all the leaders of Scentsy. If you have someone on your team, if you desire to have anyone on your team, no matter what your title is, when I share with you guys some of these things, I'm going to share with you guys the 6 areas of our personal business and our leadership. I want you guys to realize, leaders and those who want to be leaders, if you want to be successful in this business, you must understand that we cannot teach our teams one way to do anything. So for example, one area, there's 3 areas like in a personal business, and that's PRV, recruiting, and customer service. So if I am looking under the PRV category, there's tons of ways to get PRV. If you guys sit here and think about it right now, fundraisers, mystery baskets, subscriptions, bag parties, Scentsy Club, all the things, you can list 50 ways right now to get PRV. So if I were to pick one thing off that list and say, well, I do events, and not teach my team any other ways, or give them permission, not literally say, yeah, you have permission to do fundraisers. I'm just saying, like, sometimes just encouraging them to say, hey, events might work for me and be my thing, but Dorothy Sanchez is fantastic at fundraisers. So-and-so is fantastic at home parties. Go look at what she does. Go to the fundraiser page and check out all that stuff. If we do not give our teams that chance and the knowledge and the permission that to explore other options in each of these areas, they're going to get stuck. And you yourself, you're going to get stuck. So we can't, even when it comes to things on our leadership side, which is communication, training, and recognition, there's tons of ways under those 3 areas to do each. Just with training, there's coaching calls, there's one-on-ones, there's Zooms. You can do it through Marco Polo. You can do it through sitting at coffee. You can do a bunch of things. So I can't hand you one coaching call form and say that the only way to train your team is this way. And I think sometimes some of the mistakes we make as leaders is we never obviously sit down and say, you better use my coaching call form because that's the only thing that works. Like, no one ever says that. And no one ever says, like, puts a gun to your head and said, this is what you have to use. But we forget as leaders and consultants, you guys got to know, no matter where you are in your journey, there is more than one way to do things, more than one way to train your people, to communicate with your people. I'm in a season right now where I stay home. I have a 13-year-old. I have no little kids. My husband works full time, but like if I needed to leave Ethan at home by himself, I could to go do a team social. Before, forget about it. I could not do a team social. And I know people that kind of do team socials. And yes, they're lovely, they're amazing, they're awesome. But if you if you have 6 kids and you work full time and whatnot, maybe make team socials 2 or 3 times a year because they're amazing. But like, don't feel obligated to do that. Don't feel obligated to do any of these doggone forms I'm fixing to show you. But the important thing is that you have to do something. So I'm going to share some albums in here. First of all, I'm going to share all these forms later. Let me show you them first. But I'm also going to share the albums of the 6 stages. So if you're writing these down, the 6 areas of business, personal business, there's going to be PRV, recruiting, and customer service. You have got to be consistent in those 3 areas. If you want to consistently build your business, you've got to be consistent in those 3. And you've got to know out of those 3 areas, how am I going to get PRV for the month? If you're sitting here right now and you ain't got no parties booked, you have no clue and don't even have anybody that you've talked to about joining, and you have nothing planned as far as customer service goes for your customers. Mine this month is going to be voice messages. My customers saying, hey, just letting you know it's 10% off. But so it's kind of like a follow-up thing. But still, like, customer service, you're an amazing customer. Just thought I'd let you know. Bye. And if you have nothing planned, your business is going to be, it's going to stay right where it is. It's actually going to backtrack. The way Jacqueline Roy describes it is you have a bucket of water and there's a couple holes at the bottom. It's slowly dripping water. So if you think that it's okay to not do anything, that bucket of water is eventually going to run dry. If you're taking PRV, what am I going to do for PRV this month? Again, there's 5,000 ways to get PRV. It's going to vary month to month. For me this month, I've got 2 fundraisers going, and I've got 2 back-to-back 2-day events. And of course, follow up in scent bags. So I'm constantly pouring my water in of scent bags, pouring my water in of a fundraiser, pour my water in of another fundraiser, pouring more water in of events, because that water is constantly draining. And so we're backtracking if we're doing nothing. It may not look like we are, but the way our business works, pay attention, is that if we don't notice our business, and this is, I'm not no business guru, but you study anyone in business that is any famous business guru on YouTube or Apple or whoever, they will tell you, you will not see the effects of your business until it's in the extreme. You won't notice that your GWV went from 20 to 30,000, but you may notice if it went from 20 to 80. In the same aspect, you will not notice if you lost 5 pounds, but you'll notice if you lost 40. You also won't know if you gained 5 pounds, but you'll notice if you gained 40. And so you're almost in that too late, holy crap phase before you notice anything. And you don't want to get there. So you got to constantly be pouring something in on your personal business, on your leadership end with communication training and recognition. There's tons of ways. I know there's a lot of people, we forget to tell our teams and show them different ways to do all the things. And we get so stuck on, say, doing Zoom. They might not have time for Zoom. Let them know that they can do Marco Polo and all these other things, and whatever works for them, they just got to do something. And so the reason why I'm breaking those down for you guys is because when I decided that I needed to get organized, then that's when I was like, okay, I need to stop following and thinking she's doing that, so I'm gonna do that. She's doing that, so I'm gonna do that too. She's doing that, so I'm gonna do that too. She's doing that. In order for me to get organized, I had to know what I was doing, why I was doing it, and if it worked or not, so I can boot it on out and figure out something else to do. And that was the overwhelming part for me getting organized, was I was like treading water because I didn't know where to start. And so that's why I broke them down into those 6 different areas. And that's why I made it a point for myself to pick something out of those albums. I should have showed the albums first. My team knows what it is. But it literally is communication. This is 18 different ways to communicate with your team, and it lists them all. And then there's a list of what you can communicate them to or for, and what you can train them on, and a million ways to train them, and what you can recognize them for, and a million ways to recognize them. Postcards, tagging on Facebook, send a text, send a voice message, send a goodie box, send a pat on the back, do a Facebook wall shout out, do a team page wall shout out, whatever you want to do. Like, it is a lot. And so I wanted to be effective. I wanted to know what I was doing. And honestly, at the end of the day, whatever you do, whatever all your pieces are to your puzzle and your business and how you run it, first of all, you should have something. At any point, if you were to audit yourself, so to speak, or if someone else were to come in and say, how do you train your team? You should be able to say boom, boom, and boom. How do you communicate with your team? You should be able to say boom, boom, and boom. If your sponsor asks you how you're going to get PRV this month, you should say boom, boom, and boom. You should know every single part of your business because we're business owners and that's what we do. So as long as you know that, and all that has to lead to what keeps your business afloat. All that, the whole 2,000 PRV a month stigma and the 2 to 4 recruit stigma and the frontline promotions, all that stuff will create longevity for your business, but it starts with organization, how you're going to organize, what you're going to put in, however you organize, and how you do it. So I wanted to break this down to you and show you guys a little bit of what I do. Now, as far as what you have to do versus what you can do in your own way, that's two different things. That's why I broke down those 6 areas, because that's something you have to do. You have to communicate, train, and recognize your team. You have to have ways to get PRV recruiting and implement customer service. Those are things you have to do. Now, what you don't have to do is look at all these forms and be like, I'm gonna do what Fifi says. Now, if your sponsor has a form, maybe coaching calls or postcards that she does, and you have nothing, then yeah, you got to use it. Why? No one's forcing you, but until you can find something better that works for you better, I mean, you have to use what is there. And what all these videos on YouTube or this live or whatever you see, you got to do something. Even if it ends up being a complete train wreck for you, you got to do something, you guys, because we can no longer operate off of treading water. You want to know how people make it to superstar director in 2 or 3 years, or how people are busting out directors in 1 month, or how people are hitting director in 6 months? It's because they're freaking organized. They're not slack. There's no slack in their business. They're not wasting time. They're not. One example I wanted to share with you guys, by the way, was how hot, if you've done, anyone in here do subscriptions? If you've done subscriptions for more than 5 minutes, you know that is an area in your business that we are operating like, it's almost like you start at a time deficit. Like I do send back. So it's like you start at a time deficit. And if you guys know what that means, time means money. And if you are in a time deficit with subscriptions, you're already at a deficit. And so you have to be very, 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 very tedious with subscriptions, and it'll lift you up to maybe break even if you're lucky as far as time goes. And of course, subscriptions are awesome. That's why we do them. But I'm saying that's one area in our business. If we don't keep track of that, we will lose so bad. And that's where it all starts. And we have to, you guys. I realized I wanted to get my business under wraps. I wanted to create, April, I wanted to create pretty much a second assistant. I wanted to create a virtual fee. I wanted something that I can wake up in the morning and have my whatever issues is going on, have my 28 days, and just be like, literally not even have to think because something's weighing. So maybe it's marriage problems, or maybe it's family problems, or maybe it's something else going on in my personal life to where I don't even want to think about Cincy. But you know what? If I can open up this planner and see one thing, what can I do? I'm having crazy personal issues in my life. What can I do on this list that requires no thinking? Put some stickers on a postcard. Okay, cool. I'll do that because I ain't got to think. But you guys, you have got to save yourself. You've got to proof your life to be able to run this business in both, because you cannot be a hot mess and go through things. You can't put that kit down. Like Debbie Pitts Palmer said, another reigning shining star, that it stuck with me in my head when she said, if you are going through something in your life, do not put that kit down. Pick it up because you need a blessing. Cincy is a blessing, and she was so right. And I wanted it to continue to be a blessing, not a burden. And who would have thought, when I got to the bottom of it, it was myself that was preventing Cincy from being the blessing that it could be. And I was a hot freaking mess because I wasn't freaking organized. So I'm going to show you some things. Again, that I already explained to you guys the things we have to do to create that longevity of a business. These forms are just what Fifi does. So please do not see these and be like, I need to do that right there. And then go get overwhelmed and get mad at me and message me that it didn't work or whatnot. I'm just showing you guys because I'm proud of myself, because I went from nothing writing to-do lists on my hand and on index cards and on my pants, on my scrub pants at work, and just, oh yeah, there's something else. Oh yeah, oh, here's an index card from yesterday. I forgot to do that. I went from that to being able to be very organized, and it is showing in my business. It is showing so hard. I looked at compared my GWV to last year. I compared a lot of things to last year. A lot of my leaders that have taken up these habits, I've looked at their GWV and compared it to last year, and it's like, it's just made a whole turnaround, you guys. And so organization works. So anyway, let me show you guys what I have. Oops. I don't think I was meant to show that yet. Anyway, I do little things now. Anything in my business, I sat down and thought, what in my business makes me want to flip some tables when I sit down? Makes me want to be like, I ain't doing that. Forget, this is too much. I ain't doing it. I quit. This is too much. Is Cincy worth it? Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. You got to pay your bills fee. No, but this sucks. So when I had that conversation with myself was when that's probably something you need to get organized in your business. If anything's even getting on your second to last nerve, that's probably an area you need to get organized. So I even have a monthly email form, customer emails, team emails. At the beginning of the month, I write them down, what I email. So that way, when I go on MailChimp to set these suckers up, all I got to do is just be like, oh, there's a topic. Because again, I could sit down and just planning out the emails without this paper would take me hours and days and weeks to get it done. And now it's like, oh, here it is. And then same thing with, let me show you guys, same thing with my scent bag. Scent bags, as I described before, are something that's like subscriptions are something that if you guys do those, you know you are in the danger zone if you do not get your life together. And so every month I got this. I even put a section in my planner. Y'all gonna be proud of me. Y'all gonna be proud of me. That's the front of my planner. But I even put a section in my planner. Went to the Erin Condren store at SFR and put a dang thing called scent bags. So I put it in there. And so now every month I just go through and I write it all down. So that way I know exactly what to order, because then I'd get to scent bags and I'd be like, well, what's my something extra? What supplies do I even need to buy? I ordered the stuff. I didn't have freaking envelopes, so then I'd have to Amazon Prime and wait 2 whole 48 hours. And then I was like, what full-size product? I don't remember what full-size product. What did I do? And then I get my stuff and I'm ready to send it. And I'm like, man, I have nothing to make samples. So that's on here now. All that's on here. All the thinking is gone. Again, there was a couple more hours chopped out of my regimen every month, because I got this crap together in my emails. Between these two, I would say that's 5 hours I didn't have to waste. Let's add these up since we're adding these up. My monthly checklist, I myself, you guys may have seen me do Dream Week, but I myself am not much of a planner person. Now, obviously, I learned how to do all these other planner systems because I want to be able to teach my team, because I can't just tell my team, here's one way to do a planner, because I had someone do that to me, not my sponsor. But I had, in a world where most people are planner people, they want to even write down when they can go pee. It wasn't me. I'm a list person, and not a lot of people operate off of a master list because it overwhelms them. But I learned both ways on purpose, and I finally found something that worked for me. But I had to get it down to perfection in order to operate, because the one thing I was noticing was I'd write a master list, and then some of it on there was time stamped, which is not good when you're trying to be lazy and not think, and you wake up in the morning, you just do something, and then come the end of the month, all the crap that was supposed to be done 2 weeks ago at the beginning of the month, you're like, oh crap, I was supposed to do that last week. So I needed a little bit of time. I needed some kind of time restraints, but I can't do the slots with the you deliver on Mondays, but some people can. So if that's your thing, do it. Just for me, I couldn't do it. So that's why I created the Fifi checklist. That's what I'm gonna call it. So as much time restraint as I can have is on the 1st, by the 10th, by the 20th, and by the end of the month. So I literally roll my butt over in the bed in the morning, and all these are things that need to be done by the 1st. by the 10th. I even color coded them. Now again, that might overwhelm some people to have them color coded, but for me, all of my orange stuff is team stuff. All of my green stuff is the money. It's like scent bags, follow up, making my snail mail, sending scent bags, all that stuff. Purple is me time, family nights, date nights, because that's important to me in my personal life. I need to have all my stuff scheduled. And then also blue stuff is not very important, but I got to get it done, like ordering stamps and stuff like that. So anyway, this is just what works for me. This might overwhelm a lot of people, but this is what works for me because now I have that time restraint. And I even know now, if you guys have this kind of anything, planner or anything in place, then you guys know you'll get to start picking and choosing and spoiling yourself once you get organized. Because if it's the 10th and I got all this right here and I feel like watching Netflix. Today I felt like watching Netflix. I didn't want to do nothing today or nothing yesterday. What out of the stuff that's got to be done by the 10th can I do while I'm sitting my butt in this chair, my little chair that's in my room, or on my bed? Like, I can spoil myself and just pick because I know there's no thinking involved. I'm not going to have to be like, well, can I do that today? Or can I miss that? No, because it's by the 10th. It ain't the 10th yet. So I can really do that. Audrey, yes, I'm going to upload all these graphics. So that was one thing that I have in here. My plan, this is all in my planner, by the way. I'll show you here in a little bit. Anyway, out of those 6 areas every month, oh gosh, where's it at? So out of those 6 areas every month, I pick and choose what I want to do out of those 6 areas because I look at those and I'm like, okay, what do I want to do for PRV, training with my team, whatever. And I pick whichever ones fit my schedule and whichever ones is working what I want to do for the month. So that's when I started my monthly leadership form. And I do, actually just started that this month. I write my 3 for communication, training, recognition. I also put right here, this is where I do my coaching calls. I schedule my coaching calls with them, give them 3 focuses, additional notes, anything. And then also as a leader, it's important to me to get 500 by the 15th. So that's another thing. You know, once we, as leaders, I have a lot of new leaders that are like, what am I doing? Is it enough? Whip out those leadership albums on our leadership page. Pick your 3 things that you want to do out of each area for the month. And then you know you're doing enough. And then the other 3 areas for your personal business, pick out 3, 4, 5 from there. Do those 3 for the month. Write them in your planner. Schedule them out. And then you know you're doing enough. And then all of a sudden, your business is rolling. Every month you're pouring in water from every aspect and getting things done and getting something done. I also upload how to use the monthly leadership form. I know this is a lot, you guys, but there's a reason why Cincy has annual awards trackers and daily GWV trackers and incentive trackers. There's a reason why Christina Stainbrook breaks her neck every season to give us an incentive tracker. Because these things work. There's a reason why there's a new consultant workstation checklist and a new consultant checklist and a new leadership checklist, because having something structured and organized that you can look at all in one place to know in that area if you're doing enough, is it enough, is important. So I also have an annual awards tracker. Cincy has one too. I'll upload that for you guys because I got to keep track of that. And then I also have, here's Christina Stainbrook's tracker. Freaking amazing. Printed that out. And then I also made my own tracker, which I will give to you guys. This one just keeps a little bit closer track on, so I can know exactly who promoted, what they promoted to, my PRV and paid at rank, PRV consistency, how many slingshot points I got, and personal promotion. So that kind of keeps track of that, which I will share with the Cincy world because I know everybody loves all the trackers. And again, I know that sounds like a lot, you guys, but this is what I do every morning. I wake up. I do my Bible study because the Lord knows I'm prone to cut people if I'm not right with the Lord. And then I roll over to this planner, which I keep on my nightstand. And I literally let this do the thinking for me. Like, this is my assistant. This planner and all that I just showed you guys is in here. The Cincy one is amazing. There's a new one out from the Cincy Success Store. So please, by all means, you guys, go and get yourself a Cincy planner. It's amazing and I love it. let me see. I'll answer questions here in a second. I just seen a good one. Anyways, all these forms are in here. So the reason why I got a planner, because I just told you, you're like, she just said she's a list person. I got a planner because I wanted to see things as a whole, because I do a lot of events. So literally all I use my squares for is if it's for I have an event for church, or I have a baby shower, or we're in Marco Island, or I have events. And so I needed to be able to just like whip this open and someone says, hey, do you have June 15th off? And I can be like, yeah, I do. So, because that's something a list couldn't really provide for me. So that was the only thing I was missing with the list. So there was that. And then there is, once I did that, I use a different planner. I don't have the Scentsy one, but the Scentsy one's amazing. But I bought these full sheet page stickers from Amazon, I believe. And so that's what I printed them on, and I stuck them on the pages in between. There's my daily tracker log. You can see July SFR, that was chaperoning youth camp, so not a lot of it got done. Monthly emails. And then way back here in the back is my scent bag form. Can you see it? And then, of course, I have my annual tracker back here. So this is my whole life, you guys. And the reason why I'm explaining that to you guys, again, whatever form or planner or however you want to run it, you have to be consistent with it, and you got to use it, because the best one that's going to work for you is the one that you're going to use. So before you do anything, you need to sit down and figure out what kind of person you are. Are you a planner? Are you the one that likes to know every single time slot in the day? Perfect. Find a planner that can suit you like that. If you are a master list person, you got to have some kind of, I would go on a limb and say everybody needs some kind of time stamp on it. You don't need to be by the 10th or by the 20th or by the end of the month like me. It's just develop some sort of system for yourself. Or you can adapt this for now, use it for a couple of months. I think I have a blank monthly checklist that I'll share too. You can adapt that for a little while and try it out, and then be like, you know what? I need to have something done by the 12th too. Let me add in the 12th. Whatever works for you, but you have to realize you got to have those 6 areas down pat on what you want to try and what you want to do. It's got to lead to frontline promotions, your 2,000 PRV, your 2 to 4 recruits a month. And you've got to be consistent with it. So find out if you're a planner person or a list person, and then get all the pieces and brain dump. My challenge to you guys, and what I'm doing with some of my people, I'm having a Zoom tomorrow morning for some of my leaders, and we're just going to sit down and we're going to brain dump all the pieces of our business and be like, you know what? I want to try team postcards in recognition area. Anyone have any ideas to share on that? So I challenge you guys to find some people in your circle that you guys can really just sit on Zoom and brain dump with. And then once you figure out your pieces of the puzzle, and you figure out what you do in your personal life as far as date nights, family nights, whatever else, put that all together and then take it to whatever planner or system you're using. You don't have to use the forms I'm using. I will share them all, but you got to do something. You got to start somewhere. You got to be able to not think. I don't have to think anymore. I am dead freaking honest serious. I wake up out of bed and I don't have to think. I flip this open. Nothing runs through my head of did I get this done or did I not? I can go and have dinner with my husband and not have to even think about Scentsy. I can work on my business tomorrow in the morning, I think until noon is what I'm going to do. And after that, I'm not even have to think about Scentsy. I love Scentsy, but I've got to separate myself, and I can't just be doing this 24/7. So let me answer some questions. Rachel asked, do I check reports and update your reports every day, every week? That was an area, I don't know exactly what reports you mean, but that was an area where it felt like I was always having to log into the workstation and always having to look stuff up and always having to look up GWV or whatnot. I write down my GWV that I screenshot pretty much every day, but not all the time is what I'm saying. So as far as reports go, what matters to me, again, frontline promotions is utmost, 2,000 PRV and 2 to 4 recruits. That's my 3 most important. Everything that I do leads to that. And so if I'm checking anything, one of my most important things is my front line and how I'm communicating and training with them. And that's when that form comes into play. that monthly leadership form comes into play. Because when I have these, so I'm running a program for 3 months called Hustle and Heart for people that want to make it to director, and another one called Launch to Stardom. I'm going to be able to look at this and who I talked to, what their goals were, if they completed them or whatnot after 90 days. And I'm going to be able to look at it. And if they didn't get to where they didn't get to, yet we did coaching calls and we did their focuses and they completed it all, then I'll know it just wasn't their time yet. But if in 90 days from now, they didn't schedule any coaching calls with me, they didn't complete any of their goals that we set, they weren't communicating very well or whatnot, but they're wondering why they didn't succeed, I'm going to have some hardcore tangible proof right here to say, hey, I don't see your name nowhere on this list. You didn't schedule no coaching calls, nothing. Maybe that's what the problem is. So anyway, I like to keep, that's my thing. That's just me. I like to keep track of that. Another thing I was always going on the workstation for was my incentive. It's time for an incentive, guys. Y'all know the struggle's real. If you guys done one incentive, you know you're always on there like, who's certified? Wait, did she get lead? Well, did she join before or after? Did she join before or after was it August? You know, you're just confused. And so I like to just have this all right here. So that's just me. Again, that's just me. All this stuff's in my planner. And I virtually eliminated all the thinking. I have gone through some crap, you guys. I've gone through some crap. My marriage is in a great place now this year. But the past couple of years, my marriage has not been in a great place. And so I was literally had hives and skin rashes and heart problems because I was so overwhelmed and stressed with lack of organization. And then all of a sudden I got organized and it was a breath of fresh air. And it was, I'm literally spending 95% of my time on my family and on my church family and on my husband and on my son and cleaning my house and doing the things I want to do. And I can Netflix a lot more and I can enjoy being retired from my job at 30 years old. I mean, that was sad that I'm no kids, no job, and I'm here still overwhelming and overworking myself. And that's sad. I'm embarrassed to admit that, but I don't want anyone to be in that spot. And so now I can enjoy being 30 freaking years old. I can wake up, go to the gym, and not have to think about it. Not be driving, be like, oh, did I mail those off? Did I order my scent bags? I don't have to think about it because I'm like, I ain't got to think about it. I'll just wait till I get home and look at my planner and there'll be either a check mark or there won't be a check mark. But I'll let my planner tell me this is my virtual, maybe not virtual. This is my planner fee. So if I were to lose this, next thing is I need to figure out a way what to do if I lose this sucker because this might suck if I lose it. But anyway, my challenge to you guys, again, find you some people to brain dump with and get yourselves together before you even try and start this incentive. The amount of things it's going to take for you to earn this incentive is going to require you to be organized. You got to stop any and all incentive plans right now today and get organized. Maybe look at your incentive plan, look at the things you're going to have to do to get there. It actually revolves around what I'm always preaching on, frontline promotions, 2,000 PRV and 2 to 4 recruits. So it goes right along with the incentive. So what are we going to do to get there? You got to break down those pieces on how you want to keep track with all these new recruits, how you're going to keep track with training your people from day to day, month to month. How are you going to do all that? Put all those pieces together and freaking run with it, you guys. I want to see everybody succeed, and we have to start with being organized. Get yourself organized. I've seen some, I know we talk a lot about fixed mindset and you should always have a growth mindset. But I've seen some people who have the crappiest mindset, but because they're organized, they're still successful. Would you look at that? Now, I'm not encouraging fixed mindsets. I'm just saying I have looked at some people and like, some people, I'm some people. I've had fixed mindsets and like, how did I succeed with that crappy mindset? Well, it's because I was organized. Give yourself that chance the other 28 days to just live and breathe, you guys. That's powerful, and you got to think of it on those terms. If you let those go by, that water is going to be coming out of your bucket. It's going to be coming out of your bucket, okay? Now, let's get started. I love you guys. Thanks for letting me share. I'm posting those forms, and then I'm also going to post somewhere the leadership and the personal business, because I want you guys all to succeed. So if this live was helpful for you guys on getting organized, share it with your team, please. Share it with your team or share it on your uplines page, because I think lack of organization is an epidemic amongst the Cincy world if we let it. And I want together collectively for us to all just set that standard that we are organized. We are organized people. So that's where we got to be. That's where we want to be. And we all got to be there, you guys. And we're not going to get there if we're running around looking like hot messes. And guess what? The reason why I'm teaching you guys this is because I want you guys to feel like we don't have to be perfect to be powerful. I want you guys to know that 28 days of the month, you can be a hot mess, because that's life. That's reality. You can be a hot mess most of the time, but if you're organized, your business is going to thrive. Your business is going to be amazing just because you're organized. You can be a freaking hot mess. You can be packing your orders in a brown paper sack because you ran out of bags. But because you're organized, your business is still going to run. Because you're organized, you could take some time back, have a baby even. Because you're organized, your business is going to run itself. So do the things. Let's start today. And with that said, y'all have a great night. Love you all.